I'm glad to be here, all the way from New York, and I'm very excited. So I'm going to start. Actually, I'm dying right now, so don't listen. My speaker coach said, take everybody with you and your energy, so I hope you're still alive after these 10 minutes. I'm from Rotterdam, and I was told that in order to gain anything, you have to be willing to lose anything. I had everything going for me here in the city. I had a beautiful apartment, family and friends nearby, successful business, and I was doing really well. But I always had this dream, ever since I was a little girl, to go to New York. You know, if you make it there, you can make it anywhere. So, this is a story about surviving in New York City. I'm going to tell you about expectations, being sidelined, losing, but most of all about one big adventure. I'm living this story at this moment. I'm in New York City, and I'm going to tell you what I've learned over the last 3-4 years. So, Rotterdam, my city, it's made me very adventurous, curious, a real go-getter. I was very successful here. I was in the events industry, and I orchestrated events from like 500,000 people to 500 people. And I was doing the dance parade, Bevrijdingsfestival, and even the International Film Festival. At one point, I got the chance to set up Rookie Republic, which formerly known as the Enterprise, was a contest for young entrepreneurs to get from an idea to the start of their business. That went really well. We got 2 national awards, 1 international award for that. And I was doing really well. I had a lot of clients. And at one point, I was on a business trip in London for work. And I woke up with a tremendous pain in my stomach. In the next few months, I was diagnosed with an infected gallbladder. And they had to remove that. That surgery didn't go well. And I had a near-death experience. And I woke up in this hospital. And I was like, what the am I doing here? This is not what I want to do with my life. I love Rotterdam, and I love what I do, but this is it. If I need to go, I need to go now. So my adventurousness and my courage brought me to the City of Lights in early 2013, end of 2012. And my dream was to sit in that corner, having my own skyscraper and overseeing Rookie Republic and rookies working hard to make the world more entrepreneurial. So in my first year, I packed my bags, rented out my apartment in Rotterdam, went to the US, did not have a working permit, and I also didn't know anybody. But I thought, you know, with my background in Rotterdam, all these events that I've done, people will love me. But everybody was like, who the are you? So I was like, okay, this is not going well. Let's set up my own events. So within the first 2 months, I set up 2 events, a cultural event in Williamsburg, which is now one of the hippest areas in Brooklyn, in New York, and I launched Rookie Republic. Everything went really well. Americans love the fact that you just come and do it. I just showed up, and I was like, hey, here I am. And so I got a job, a freelance job for a cultural organization. I was able to do 2 events a month for them. And that was my way in to a network that I could not have gained so quickly myself. And all of a sudden, I was talking to MoMA, Guggenheim, Shakespeare in the Park, Broadway shows, theaters, all the big shots you can imagine in the city. And within our first year, I worked with Woody Allen, with Sting, and we also organized our own events. And a few months after Nelson Mandela passed away, we did a tribute concert to Nelson Mandela with the Soweto Gospel Choir, and speeches by Bill Clinton and Morgan Freeman. So within my first year, was pretty successful, and I was really happy, and I was like, okay, this is going well. So my first year, I was like, okay, next year is going to be better, and within 5 years I'll be a millionaire, and I'll be doing really, really, really well. And all of a sudden, I wasn't realizing, because I was just ignoring that fact, that I wasn't making enough money. I was paid part-time when I was working full-time because I wanted that network. It was my way in. So I had to make a decision. And all of a sudden, things started turning around. That job ended. It was between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which nobody does anything. So I had 6 weeks, to get more work. But between Thanksgiving and Christmas, nothing happens. So all of a sudden, I didn't have enough work. No clients, no income. I don't know how much you know about New York, but the rents are pretty high. And the next step was becoming homeless. So I did everything I could in those 6 weeks to get jobs, and nothing happened. So all of a sudden, I was homeless. I'm going to sideline a little bit. New York and Rotterdam. As you can see, everything is 10 times bigger in New York. And there are 8.5 million people. And as you can see, the average rent of a one-bedroom is $2,700. While here I had a beautiful two-bedroom in the city center of Rotterdam for €800, so like $900. So I had to make a choice. Am I going back to New York, or am I going back to Rotterdam, or am I staying in New York? But I still had, by that time I had a working permit, and it was still valid for 1.5 years. So I was like, okay, Northern Ireland fits in Manhattan. It's 10 times bigger. There are 22 bridges, so I'm staying. I can't remember how many times I moved in those 3 years, but I think it's about 20 times. I had the most shittiest roommates you can ever imagine, people who actually watched me do the dishes and commenting on that. I slept on couches, on floors, on everywhere I had, and every chance that I had to watch a dog or a cat, I took. I had one cat that loved my head so much it wanted to sleep on it every night. So 6 months went by, I was struggling, and I was exhausted. It's just simply exhausted. And for the first time in my life, I really started doubting myself. I was like a shadow of the confident person I've ever been. All the success that I had, I was like, doesn't matter, I have nothing, I am nothing. So I really started doubting myself. And at one point, I realized, I sat down, and I was like, okay, this is not me, this is not who I want to be, this is not why I came to New York, so who should I talk to? So I made a list of people that I admire, and I found out that most of those people live in Rotterdam. So that was kind of easy. I started calling people, asking for advice, and I said, guys, I don't know what to do anymore. And they said, you're in New York, and you're still there. Keep going. You're so courageous. We admire you. Do whatever you need to do, whatever you need to do. We've got your back. Don't worry. Keep going. So my advice for people who want to take this adventure, if you're up for a really big adventure and a hell of a roller coaster ride, I would say do it. Just do it. Expect to fail. Hope to fail. Because I can tell you one thing, because I felt so hard, I was like, you know what? This can only get better. And I had 2 friends who I met in New York, but they're from Rotterdam. I was staying at their couch, and they gave me the best advice ever. They said, you know what? You're sleeping on couches. You're working so hard on Rookie Republic. We admire you, but you have to get all those jobs to be able to get back on your feet. So I did, and those guys went to every event I organized to back me up. So where I am now, I'm doing really well. I have some new clients. I'm working with really big brands again. I have my own room with an amazing roommate, and I fell really hard, and I'm getting back on my feet. So those who sacrifice everything can gain the world. So what I would give to you, fear, do it, keep going, over and over and over. If you fall, get up, and once again, fear. Thank you.